The Sony A6700 was just released, and it's got some fantastic features. I'm sure you are curious about its performance comparing with some of Sony's other popular cameras. So in this video, we will be looking at the features of A6700, ZVE10, ZVE1, and A7IV. And at the end of the video, I will share with you how I think of them and which camera you should get. Both A6700 and ZVE10 are APS-C cameras, and the ZVE1 and A7IV are full-frame cameras. Generally speaking, full-frame cameras will have better dynamic range and low light performance. The ZVE10 is the most lightweight among all of these cameras. The A6700 and ZVE1 are actually very similar in terms of weight. But remember, ZVE1 is a full-frame camera. Now let's talk about stabilization. The new A6700 comes with 5-axis stabilization. This is actually a little bit disappointing since the ZVE1 already has even better dynamic active steady shot, which allows you to walk with the camera, and you will have the gimbal-like footage. But sadly, this doesn't exist in A6700, and the walking footage looks mediocre. You will probably still have to rely on catalyst browse. But don't take this the wrong way. It's still a very steady camera comparing to other competitors in the range. However, the video features of A6700 are quite impressive. It can record 10-bit 4:2 video. This means you will have more dynamic range and more flexibility when you do heavy color grading. On the other hand, ZVE10 is the only camera in this comparison that doesn't have this feature. If you look at the footage right here, you can see clearly how it affects the result of color grading. The A6700 is capable of recording 4K 120 frames per second with 1.5 times crop, and 4K 60 FPS with no crop. The 4K 60 FPS on an APS-C camera will look the same as the 4K 60 FPS with 1.5 times crop on Sony A7IV. But don't forget that A7IV is a full-frame camera and twice as expensive as the A6700. Dual base ISO is also an important factor when it comes to low-light video shooting. The A6700 uses the same sensor as the FX30, so technically it should have the same dual base ISO at 800 and 2500. But so far nobody has done any test about that on YouTube, so not sure about that. What we can be sure is that if you want great extreme low light performance, you should go with ZVE1, which has the dual base ISO at 640 and 12800. Now let's look at some other features that I haven't mentioned. The A6700 and the A7IV are both hybrid cameras, so they are equipped with EVF, enough resolution for both photography and videography. On the other hand, the ZV series is primarily for vlogging, so they come with the product showcase function. But interestingly, the A6700 also has the auto-framing feature, just like the ZVE1. This feature will check the subject automatically, making it look like somebody is holding the camera for you. It's a nice feature to have for solo content creators. Among the 4 cameras, A7IV is the only one that has 2 card slots. So if you're doing professional works for paid customers, this is probably the deal maker. As for drawbacks, ZVE10 is the only one that doesn't come with S-Cinetone. This feature used to only exist in more expensive cameras, but now the APS-C A6700 has it. If you look at the price, it is very clear that Sony creates different cameras for very different customers. If you are just starting out, you don't know much about photography or videography, I must say the ZVE10 has the best value for what you pay for. The biggest drawback is that it doesn't have stabilization and it only has A7IV for videos. But you can solve the first problem by using Active Steady Shot or Catalyst Browse. And as for the second problem, I doubt beginners will do heavy color grading, so it's actually not a big issue. And who is the A6700 for? I think if you already have some experiences and you still want to use the APS-C system, or for some reasons you really need slow motion, then the A6700 is the perfect choice. In fact, I think the A6700 is a lighter version of A7IV. If it really does have dual base ISO, then the only difference is the sensor size. Generally, a full-frame sensor will have better low-light performance than an APS-C sensor, but you can always compensate that by using a faster lens. The Sigma Trial are very great options. But of course, the A7IV has 2 card slots. If what you are recording is something that you just can't lose, or if you want to go the professional route, then just choose A7IV. And what about the ZVE1? If you figure that you are more of a videographer or vlogger than a photographer or a hybrid content creator, and especially when you need great low light performance, then the ZVE1 is for you. Alright, I hope this video makes it easier for you to choose your ideal camera. If you have any thoughts or questions about these 4 amazing cameras, leave a comment to let me know. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time.